Welcome to episode 701 of the Entertainment 2.0 podcast, brought to you by thedigitalmediazone.com. I'm Josh Pollard.
And I'm Richard Gunther, and this is the show that puts you in control of your favorite movies, music, shows, and games. And we have a lot to talk about tonight after this post-CES gap.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the world goes crazy getting everything out there during CES. So it takes a little while for there to be news again. And I mean, unless you just want to show up and just have us talk about the latest in the Paramount versus Netflix saga, which I'm kind of already bored with. So we're not going to talk about that tonight. Instead, after we get to some listener feedback, we're going to talk about how it looks like TCL is coming for Samsung in the TV market share race. Predictions also don't look great for Google TV, especially in North America. Sonos has a new product. First product in, almost a year. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? We don't actually know when it's coming out. But more on that in a little bit. We do have a couple of new devices that have Auracasts. You know, I'm excited about that. One from Sennheiser and one from Marshall, and some interesting gaming news if you've been thinking you might want an ARM-based Windows PC. But first off, let's jump into our listener feedback from long time listener of the show. Tim emailed us at entertainment20@thedigitalmediazone.com to say, "Hey guys, I am at long last in the market for a 4K television."
Yay!
It is 2026.
Yeah.
And he is just now buying a 4K television. He says, I'm still rocking a 55-inch Samsung 1080p TV from 2013. Wow. He says, I listen to your show religiously, but I just can't keep the details about your TV preferences in my head. Given I upgrade infrequently, I'm looking at the LG G5 65-inch, which will be connected to my Apple TV 4K and Sonos Arc, Sonos Sub Mini, and ceiling speakers for the rears. Thoughts? Yes. So on to the news. No, I'm just kidding.
It's funny.
Yes.
We didn't talk about this at all,
No.
but that was my exact response. Thoughts? Yes. That's what you should get.
Exactly. Yes.
Yep.
Our preferences have not changed in the last few years. If you can afford an LG OLED, you should buy an LG OLED in the biggest size that you can. The one thing that I might say is, like, for most people, I wouldn't necessarily recommend you go all the way up to the G5. Like, is the G5 the top of the line OLED from LG? Yeah, it is. Do you need that one? Like, could a C5 be good enough for you? Probably, but I also don't know enough about the differences in the specs to say otherwise. But yeah, dude, you're absolutely looking at the right thing. Get an LG OLED unless you really want to go enormous, which it doesn't sound like you do. If you did want to go huge, like what Richard recently did in his new viewing area, where you got like a 98-inch TCL, I think it is, Richard?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Like, unless you're looking at 90 plus inches and stuff and don't have $10,000 laying around that you can reasonably put towards a TV. Yeah. In a 65-inch model, get an LG OLED.
I mean, for what it's worth, it was not $10,000. It was a $3,500 TV. But
right. But still, I don't even think you can get a 90-some inch OLED. I think the biggest they go is 85, and at that point, they are pushing $10,000. So yeah. Good choice.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to comment on the audio selection there. So you talked about a Sonos Arc, a Sonos Sub Mini, and ceiling speakers for rears. That's great. If you have ceiling speakers for rears, that means that you need to have a Sonos amp somewhere in the mix there. So there's more Sonos gear, even though you didn't list it. I hope you already recognize that that's necessary. You can't just mix non-Sonos stuff with Sonos stuff without actually connecting it to one of their devices.
Yeah, good call out. Good call out. All right. Well, again, thank you, Tim, for writing in. And for anybody else who wants to do something similar, all of our contact information will be at the end of the show or in our show notes over at www.thedigitalmediazone.com. So let's get on to the news. And again, interesting news from a report here looking at what TVs are selling across the world, and then what sort of devices people are using on those TVs, whether that be software baked into the TV or an external box that is connected to it. And I would be willing, I was too lazy, I didn't actually go back to check, but I would be willing to bet that for as long as we have been doing this show, Samsung has been the number one television manufacturer in the US. Like in terms of sales of units.
Right.
They have been for many, many, many years, and they still are. Through 2025, they were still ranked number one with 17% of the market share. But TCL is now number two with 16%. They're only 1% behind, and that's after they increased shipments 20% year over year. They've increased their market share from 13% to 18%, from 13% to 16%, while Samsung's market share actually dropped 8%.
Something goes up, something has to go down.
Right.
Right? Something has to absorb it.
Exactly.
This is kind of stunning. If you remember, I think one of the first times we ever talked about TCL as a TV manufacturer on the show was in an interview that I did with someone from TCL because they were using Windows Media Center as a built-in function in some of their TVs to power other capabilities.
Oh my gosh.
Media Center as a foundation for some of their in-device smarts.
I forgot about that.
And at the time, it was shocking news that this company that nobody had heard about, TCL,
right?
Nobody in the US had heard about TCL, is in fact the fourth largest manufacturer and seller of TVs worldwide. So for them to be number two now, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I would bet that they would pass Samsung this year regardless, but now they also just announced a partnership with Sony. And I don't want to speak too much to this because I've read multiple articles and I don't really understand what this partnership actually means. But what a lot of people are interpreting it as is basically Sony is saying, you go ahead, TCL, you own our TV business now. And whether that's they're producing Sony, like Sony's just going to use TCL panels, I'm not sure what that means exactly.
I don't get that at all. I mean, Sony is still the recommendation. Like if you're looking for an LCD TV and you have the money to spend, they're still the company that many people recommend for their TVs. So in the professional space specifically.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, those home integrator people, they love their Sonys, and they've always seemed overpriced. Like they've got the Sony tax. Like, are they actually that much better than TCL or Samsung TVs? I'm not convinced that they are, but they've just been the name in televisions for like 50 years.
Yep.
But that isn't what we just told Tim to go by.
Yeah.
I don't think I've recommended a Sony TV to somebody since they were made out of glass tubes.
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't know that it's been that long, but certainly this, I don't get this. We need to learn more about what this business arrangement is all about. So let's not dive too deep into that.
Right. So that is where TV like unit sales have been going and where it looks like they're going. But this same report, we'll link to this in the show notes, of course, also dug into what are people like? What is the software essentially that people are using on these TVs? And a lot of these TVs have this software built in, right? You can buy a TV that has Google TV or Roku or Amazon Fire TV, all of this stuff built in. And then some manufacturers have their own things, like Vizio is still around. Walmart bought Vizio, and Vizio has gone with their own thing called Cast OS. So what do the market shares look like? And I was particularly interested in this article because I have been Team Google TV for I don't know, it's going on a decade.
Since think before it was called Google
right,
TV.
Since it was Android TV, and I bought an NVIDIA Shield TV in 2016 or something like that. That's been my preferred platform.
Yep.
And I just kind of assumed that, especially since TCL makes a whole lot of Google TVs, that Google TV must be doing really well. And it is doing really well outside of the US and outside of China. In the rest of the world, Google TV's got about 40% market share. It's number one by a lot. But here in North America, it is a completely different situation. We've known for years that Roku has been number one, but it's number one by a lot. And Google TV's market share is under 15% right now, and predicted to continue to decline to under 10%. Meanwhile, going to go back to a company that I just referenced. The predictions are that Cast OS on all of these Vizio TVs is going to shoot through the roof and eclipse all of these. Now, I don't know exactly how to square both of these stories together when we're saying that TCL is coming for Samsung as being the number one TV, and we're saying that Vizio's OS is going to shoot up to number one. Wouldn't that also mean that Vizio would need to pass TCL? Maybe, maybe not. And TCL doesn't just make Google TVs. They do have Roku TVs.
They also make Roku. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think they even make some of the Fire TVs for Amazon.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think so. So that's true with a lot of these manufacturers, right? When we were walking around at CES, we saw that many of the manufacturers had, this is our Roku TV, this is our Google TV, this is our Amazon TV. And I get it. I mean, they have business partnerships with all of them, and that actually helps them sell TVs through those channels. There's probably some pressure that they may be under, for example, with Amazon, if they don't support that, to be able to sell their devices on Amazon. So it's not just like a one-for-one teeter-totter here, right? Like there's a number of players in this market. This Cast OS thing has Cast OS. Did I really just say that? Yeah, I did. I'm not really believing this. This is we talk about this stuff all the time. Vizio is one of the brands that you've had a lot of interest in over the years. Funny about that.
Yeah, I have one in my basement. Right. It was my first 4K TV.
Yeah. And they've put out a lot of really good TVs over the years. This is the first time I've ever even heard the term Cast OS. Man, can't even say it.
Well,
and remembered it, and thought of, oh, that's something I should care about.
And outside of this report, I would have said, I don't know that you do need to remember it or care about it. But Vizio kind of went dark. It was almost like as TCL got more popular, Vizio went down the drain because Vizio was the value brand for a while. And in the early days, it was every negative connotation of value brand, but then it got good. And it was just a good value brand. But TCL completely wiped them off the face of the map, basically.
Yeah.
And then Walmart came in, was that last year or 2 years ago, I think? I think it was last year. And bought Vizio. And we were like, oh, right, Vizio. We had kind of forgotten they even existed.
Yep.
But it's Walmart. So, of course, they're going to sell a lot of these things. And maybe Walmart doesn't carry TCL TVs. They probably don't.
we'll see. They definitely carry Samsung. I know that because I've bought Samsung TVs at Walmart.
Yeah. So we'll check in, I guess, in a year and see what 2025 actually, I can't even, it's almost February and I still can't get the year straight. We'll see what 2026 actually had in store for all of these different TV manufacturers. One last thing. Should I have been surprised, Richard, that Google TV is not doing super great in the US, considering when you compare iOS to Android in the US, like everybody in the universe of the United States has an iPhone. So should I just not be surprised that people don't have Google's operating system on their TV as much in the US?
Yeah, I'm not convinced that really has anything to do with it. We're talking about built-in operating systems here, right? Are we comparing this with an Apple TV standalone device? I don't know that we are. I think this is what is the built-in OS for a smart TV and that's being used. Maybe, again, we need to understand more about the playing field here. What's being compared?
Yeah.
And if it includes standalone devices, then that's a different thing. And we know that Apple has been gaining share there. But I'm disappointed if this is true because I love Google TV. I'm really happy with Google TV on the devices where I use it. I have intentionally bought and upgraded Google TV devices to use with televisions that I have because I think it's such a good ecosystem. And I hope that it continues to thrive. The good news is that with 40% market share outside of the US and China, then hopefully there's still enough reason for Google to care about it.
Yeah, because that's the big concern. If they're not selling here, then maybe they stop caring about it and just give up on it entirely.
Right. Exactly. All right. Well, let's jump to our audio news. And the first audio story is a story about Sonos. And we haven't heard a lot about Sonos in the last year or so, short of people slamming on Sonos because that's the popular thing to do. But it turns out that they've come out with an announcement for a new amplifier. And this is something very clearly geared at the professional or installer space, not at the consumer market. Despite that, it's not designed as a rack-mounted device. That's a whole different issue with Sonos. But hey, that's what 3D printers are for, right? So what we have here is a new amp. And you may remember I just talked about Sonos amp as something that Tim might want to consider. But this is an amp that is designed to handle up to 4 zones. And it does that with 8 different 125 watt outputs. That's a lot of output. Fun fact, we're going to stop talking about the loudness and capabilities of amplifiers in watts in the coming years because the industry has decided that that's a bogus way of measuring things, and it kind of is. So we'll start hearing about things in terms of decibels instead. But in any event, back to the story at hand, we're looking at a device that can support up to 4 zones. So this is whole home kind of audio, and you're going to connect the speakers that you have already built into your home or that you're adding to your home. Remember, Sonos also partners with Sonance, I think is the brand, if I have that correct, speakers, so that you can get speakers that are optimized to work with your Sonos system. But of course, you can connect any good speaker to a Sonos amp. And if you have built-in speakers around your home, this is a good way to get your Sonos ecosystem working across your home with those systems. You may already have some other system, or if you're old school, you may have like 4 different Sonos amps currently set up somewhere to power all the different systems in your different rooms that this one device now will be able to support. So this is if you're in the installer space or you're in this professional space or you're a potential consumer of that kind of device, this is good news. They have needed to support this, and that's great. It will continue to support AirPlay, just like it already does with other devices. It will support Spotify Direct, like their devices do, just like their other devices don't, because of the lawsuit that they've been fighting with Google. There are no options currently for Google Cast. So we don't know if that's going to be coming or not. I think if I remember correctly, that lawsuit is still ongoing. I don't think that that's been settled yet. So there's still this kind of push and shove between Google and Sonos. Now, when's it coming? What's it going to cost? We don't know that. What we can expect is that this is going to cost more than their current amp product. So we're going to look at something over $700 or $800 because this has multiple zones.
Right.
The current amp only supports one zone. And we're also going to be looking at sometime this year, but we don't know when. They've said that they're going to be ramping up production on hardware for the latter half of this year, but they haven't committed to any particular time frame yet. But all in all, I think it's good news. And if this is, if you're one of those people that has speakers all over your home because you've had them like legacy speakers, or you've installed speakers from a high-end system and you've always wanted to tie it into your Sonos ecosystem, this is finally going to allow you to do that without having to buy like multiples of their amp devices.
Yeah. Yeah. And worrying about how to power all of them in all of the different places and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Put it in one place.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like a cool product, for the markets you're talking about, or even for the high-end consumers, maybe somebody who's building a new home this year and knows they want to do speakers out on the deck and in the pool room and the theater and all of that stuff. So great product for that sort of situation.
And you might ask yourself, well, why would I do that when I could just buy Sonos speakers? Well, because maybe you don't want to have speakers out somewhere that you have to find a place for, and you have to put, they're going to be a part of your decor, and you don't necessarily want them to. Now, actually, something I didn't mention is that this will also allow you to pair a Sonos sub mini, I think, but a sub with any of these zones. So you could also potentially have a plug-in hidden subwoofer somewhere, which is really cool because, again, you don't have to worry about wiring it to anything.
Right.
It's just going to work through wireless. And a subwoofer, you generally end up hiding a subwoofer anyway. It's usually behind or under some form of furniture or something else in your home.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, Sonos has been like the go-to way that for the last 15 years, people have been recommending whole home audio. But now we've got Auracast, and that's bringing us some new ways of doing this. So we're actually going to start with a new device from Marshall. Marshall has it's essentially an Auracast hub. It is called the Heddon. Is that how you would pronounce this? Heddon?
Heddon. Yeah. I don't know how else to. Heddo. That's a really weird spelling. So
yeah.
Heddon, head on. No.
It's not a head on, right?
Heddon.
Yeah. We're going to go with Heddon on this thing. And it's basically a small device that has, like I said, it's got an Auracast chip built in that will, like, the primary use case here is that you will connect this to other Marshall Bluetooth speakers that you have or that you might purchase at the same time as buying this. And it will then use Auracast to allow you to play the same content to all of your Bluetooth speakers using Auracast, because Auracast allows there to be multiple receivers of a Bluetooth signal from a single device. So it is true whole home audio using Bluetooth. And that alone would be pretty cool, but it adds a few more features to that. It has a set of RCA inputs on it so that you can connect another audio device. Of course, they talk about record players because they are so popular right now. You could plug a record player into this and be listening to your vinyl across your entire house using Auracast to a bunch of different speakers that way. It also has RCA out so that you could connect analog speakers to this device so that you can have regular powered speakers attached to this in addition to it sending out audio to your Auracast Bluetooth speakers. So
powered, not it's
they
not
would need to be
amp
powered.
also.
Correct. It is a line out. You will need to power those speakers with an amp of some sort. Yeah. So this device on its own is a little bit pricey, I think, at $300 just for this hub. That feels like a lot to me. But if you purchase it with some of their more popular Bluetooth speakers, you will get it half off, which feels like a far more reasonable price for this device.
I think it sounds cool. I mean, we were just talking about a device that's going to cost above $800 that is essentially doing the same thing without Google Cast and without Auracast. Of course, the difference is it is an amplifier, but
yeah,
this is a cool thing, and I didn't expect this, and when we saw devices at CES that were doing this, I was a little bit surprised. I wasn't expecting to see Auracast used as a multi-room solution.
Yeah.
And yet it makes sense.
It makes so much sense. And the fact that, Auracast is essentially an open standard. I mean, it's not technically the Bluetooth SIG owns it, but it's a standard that basically any Bluetooth speaker can or will be able to support in the future. It means that you're not locked into a particular vendor like you are with Sonos or some of the other competitors out there, Weem or Wim or however you're supposed to pronounce that.
No idea.
Company. You could buy this hub or frankly lots of others that are starting to come to market. We're about to talk about another one, and lots of different Bluetooth speakers that make sense for whatever room you're going to put them in, and get the custom whole home audio experience that you actually want that is not defined by one particular manufacturer. So I'm really excited to see more and more speakers and devices support this over the coming year. This truly could finally be the year of Auracast. I'm really excited about it. And so with that, let's jump to the other Auracast device. This is from Sennheiser. Sennheiser has made high quality headphones for a long time, many, decades at this point. And one thing that they've done really well for many years is headphones, wireless headphones designed to be used for watching TV. We reviewed a set of them like a decade ago on the DMC. I loved them. They were so nice, so comfortable, sounded great. And they've got a new set of headphones. And this is the Sennheiser RS275. And this set of headphones comes with an Auracast transmitter. So instead of it just being their own proprietary or RF dongle, essentially, that is talking only to their headphones, this device, you plug it into your TV and it uses Auracast to talk to your headphones. But that means that it also talks to any headphones that support Auracast or speakers, whatever. And so, you can buy this and get one set of headphones, and that's great. But also, one of the limitations of lots of these types of technologies for using headphones to watch TV is they pretty much only ever supported one pair of headphones. And what if you and your partner are trying to watch TV quietly because the baby's asleep or something like that?
Not a problem with Auracast.
Not a problem with Auracast. So the Sennheiser RS275 is an answer to that. And it's a product that you're going to be able to get any day now because this ships February 3rd.
Next week.
Yeah, next week for $300. That's if you want the headphones and that transmitter. If you just want this transmitter, it's called the BTA1. It's $130 if you just want that transmitter on its own.
Why would you just want the transmitter? You already have Auracast compatible earbuds or something like that?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And we talked about a couple different products that were available or that were coming to market when we were at CES.
Right. So that is all of our exciting audio news. One quick gaming story for you all. Let's check the time because I'm trying to figure out how deep I want to go down the rabbit hole on this story. So
don't go deep. It's gaming. Don't go deep.
Okay. So Xbox announced, or Microsoft, I suppose, announced that they are rolling out the Xbox PC app for ARM-powered Windows laptops. And I thought, well, that's strange. Like, these are just Windows 11 laptops. Wouldn't they have already had the Xbox app? Well, sure, sort of, but they're ARM, and so gaming on ARM on Windows hasn't exactly been the greatest experience up until recently. But Snapdragon's got a whole new line of laptops that they showed off at CES, and they're supposed to be a whole lot better. And now Microsoft is using their new Prism technology to make running games that were designed for x86 processors, normal processors, like that you would get from Intel or AMD, to make games that are built for that run well on ARM. And with the release of this new Xbox app, they are saying that on these modern ARM-powered laptops, you can run 85% of the games that are currently available in the Xbox Game Pass library. And that library on the PC side is hundreds of games. So it's not like we're talking about, oh, look, you can play 30 games. It's a lot of games that you can play. Now, depending on the game and depending on the laptop, you're going to get a different experience on how powerful it is and all of that. But the fact that you can do it now is a pretty big breakthrough.
Yeah.
I do want to see some benchmarks on some of these PCs to see how well it actually works. I'm going to briefly go down a little bit of a rabbit hole. For a couple of years, NVIDIA has been talking about making their own CPU available for laptops and stuff like that. An entirely NVIDIA-powered laptop. So that it wouldn't just be an NVIDIA GPU in your PC, it would also be the CPU. And this might actually be the rumors are saying that NVIDIA could be shipping laptops, NVIDIA, in the first quarter of 2026. There's only 2 more months remaining in the first quarter, so they would have to be really, really close. I'm not sure how realistic that is if they haven't even really started marketing them yet. But as I was thinking about that, I thought about how weird it was, Richard, that we were at the Razer booth at CES, and for the first time in many, many, many years, Razer was not showing new laptops.
Nope, not at all.
They didn't have any new ones. What if they're the partner with NVIDIA? What if Razer and NVIDIA have been waiting on Microsoft to get their
stuff together,
to get their act together, to make it so that people can play games well on ARM. And then Razer and NVIDIA are going to launch a new line of ARM-based gaming laptops. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Assuming they're not like $7,000.
Yeah.
Which, with the price of RAM, who knows at this point. But that's me going down the rabbit hole. I won't spend any more time going down that line, but I think that would be pretty interesting if that's what ends up happening.
Yeah,
here.
for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it for our news this week. Richard, let's talk about what's been going on in your entertainment center since you got back from CES.
Well, actually, it's before that, right? Because we didn't talk about what's been going on in our entertainment centers when we were at CES.
Yeah.
So this is probably a month or more's worth of stuff happening. And one of the things that happened actually as a result of me being out at CES and watching content on my device was I got really, really, really fed up with the ads when I was watching content on Prime. And I know I've already talked about how I don't like giving Amazon money, and I am using a family plan to use my partner's Amazon Prime, so I'm not having to pay them an additional Amazon Prime fee. We're getting one, and we're doing it all through the same account. And I'm not really buying stuff from them anymore, but I might as well take advantage of the video since we already have it, right? And so I've been watching stuff, and the ads are just making me crazy because they're getting obnoxious. They're not quite Paramount yet. If you've had Paramount without the no ads option, you know what I'm talking about. It's really bad. They're not quite that, but they're getting bad. And so I'm like, all right, I did the math. What have I been out of shape about? It's $36 for the year. $3 a month. It seemed like, oh, I have to pay an additional amount. I can't, that's ridiculous. It's $36 for the year. I mean,
yeah,
I'll spend $36 just like running out to Home Depot one day and buying some crap that I don't need, right? So I can justify spending $36 for the year. Josh, I actually looked into seeing if it was possible to get a gift card option of this because I wanted to give this to you for Christmas.
That is hilarious.
Because, I mean, come on. What are we holding this? This is just crazy. So I paid $36 and I don't have to deal with the obnoxious ads anymore. And I'm so much less stressed about it.
So
it was worth it.
We're going to get into what you've been watching, and I'm glancing through this. What of these things are even on Prime?
Nothing here.
So why did you need this? What are you watching?
I think there was a movie or something that I was watching on the plane that I forgot to include in my my viewing here, and it just really bugged me. So but that's a good point. All right, let's go down the list. So we a lot of transition. I was watching a bunch of stuff that I finally finished. So we finished watching Mary and George. I talked about how that was something that we had bought the AMC add-on for. Oh, that was it for Prime. We bought the AMC add-on for Prime. Wasn't AMC, it was Stars. Whatever. It was an add-on for Prime, and we had a $3 a month special for it, or $3.99 or something like that. We reached the end of it. I canceled it. We watched the series. I have no more interest in Stars. I'm done. Watched all of The Paper. It got better as it progressed, and I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I watched it all. I will watch the next season. It was good. It was really good. It wasn't amazing, but it was warm and comfortable, and it made me happy.
Well, good. Like, I'm glad to hear that from someone who doesn't have the local connection. Like, I watched it because it's in Toledo.
Yeah.
But you don't have any real connection to Toledo to draw you into the show.
Right. Not at all. But so did you end up finishing it?
Oh, yeah. We finished it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Will you watch season 2?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. I mentioned that we had started Stranger Things. We were holding back until until most of it was out, and we started watching it just before Thanksgiving, and we watched it slow enough because of our respective availability to watch it together that we didn't end up running out of episodes. So we just finished watching that. I don't think you watch this. Do you, Josh?
No. I don't watch it. I gave up after season 1.
Okay. So I will say that this is probably one of the most satisfying series finales I've seen in a very, very long time. They did an excellent job making you feel like they tied up loose ends.
Nice.
Without any unnecessary, but what's going to happen next kind of crap.
That's good. That's really good. And because that was my biggest complaint.
That was your issue with season 1.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, they explained literally nothing.
Yep.
And they were just like, come back and spend another season with us and maybe you'll learn something.
No, come back and spend 4 more seasons and maybe you'll learn.
Yeah.
And it literally is that, right? Like you won't know until you watch all of it. But it was good. So we also finally finished watching last season of The Voice. Actually, just last night, we watched the finale of that. And I couldn't be happier with the final decision there. I just like the last season we watched, the person that we thought deserved it the most, in fact, won. And that's awesome. I'm really happy to see that. Also finished watching Iron Fist. And so the next thing that I'll be watching in the Marvel TV series anthology is going to be the third season of Daredevil. That'll be up next. I am keeping up with Abbott Elementary. That is continuing. You may remember that I mentioned that they made a joke about having a shorter season because they were only initially picked up for 10 episodes. Now there are 15 episodes planned, which is a really weird number of episodes for anything. So I'm thinking there's probably going to be more. They just haven't announced them yet, but watching through those as they become available. A friend of mine recommended some relatively unknown sitcom on NBC called Stumble. And I think that your wife is going to enjoy this.
Huh.
This is a no laugh track sitcom type series about cheerleading. And it is a blast. It is so funny. I had some episodes with me that I was going to watch on the plane, and I had to stop watching them because I was laughing too hard.
You didn't want to be that guy on the plane?
I didn't want to be that guy. It was embarrassing, and I couldn't keep it in. It is so funny. I recommend that you look into this. I've seen nothing promoting this series, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So check out Stumble on NBC and Peacock. Also, the new Star Trek series, Starfleet Academy, started. I'm really happy about that. There are 3 episodes that have been out so far. I have watched all 3. I have enjoyed all 3. It shows a lot of potential, has some really good casting. There's a lot of hokey about it, and it's set in a world that I wasn't expecting. I don't know why I wasn't expecting it, but if you're a Star Trek person, you're gonna enjoy it, I think. If you're not, and you're like, oh, what should I watch from start? Don't start here. Just don't. You're gonna be lost. You won't understand a lot of why they do what they do and why they have the attitudes they do and so forth. So I like it. I'm happy so far. Also, finally decided to watch and then binged all of Heated Rivalry. Now, I say all, it's 6 episodes. This is an HBO Max series. Actually, it's an HBO series, and it was on HBO Max that I watched it. To be entirely transparent about this is essentially a love story between 2 rival hockey players.
Yep.
And if you are not comfortable with watching that go down and all of the physical aspects of that might come along with that, do not watch the series because, oh my, it is graphic. But
great. That's what I wanted to hear because Eden has already watched
this with your kids.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Eden's already watched it. She's 17. I have to stop being so precious about it.
I mean, she's 17.
Right. But yeah, she asked me a few hockey related questions after watching this.
Fair enough. I thought it was great. I thought they did a really good job. I thought it was a lot. I mean, it is in your face, and I think they're asking a lot of people to want to that they want to stand behind this cause potentially, which is the issue of gay athletes having to be closeted, and to then be so graphic and so upfront about it. But it's been extremely popular. It's done crazy well and gotten all kinds of accolades and recognition. So I had to kind of stop ignoring it, and I watched it, and it was great. And there's going to be a second season, so I'm happy about that. I finally also watched F1. I say finally because I feel like it's been out forever because they've been promoting it forever.
Right.
And I liked it.
Right.
Yes. It was fun.
Yeah, we saw it in theaters. Loved it.
This did not seem like a 3-hour movie. It was 2 hours and 45 minutes. This did not seem that long at all.
Yeah.
So thoroughly enjoyed that. And then I finally convinced Edward to watch the, I'll say live action, but of course it's live action and computer animation for How to Train Your Dragon.
I don't know what you're talking about, Richard. Those are real life dragons.
Yeah, totally real life. Don't watch the extras; it'll spoil it. So the movie is exactly the animated film. Like they almost block by block, word for word, they recreated the animated film. The casting is amazing. Like they nailed everyone that they put in these roles. And if you liked the first film, you will probably like this, unless you're one of those people that's like, oh, I hate how they're making all these things into live actions. It's a waste of time. But it's a great story, and it translates well to have human actors playing it out as well.
Yeah.
All right. I had mentioned before that I had been watching, or that I'd been reading the DevOps Handbook, and our book club that's been going through this has been going really, really slowly through it because there's a lot in here. And I hate to say it, but I gave up. I gave, and I think I've been clear about the fact that I don't really like business process improvement books.
Yeah.
Like I'd much rather read, like they have case studies in here that to me are really interesting. And I'd much rather read a whole book about how Google succeeded or how Microsoft succeeded or what was going on inside Steve Jobs' head than to read a book about this is how you can optimize your business processes. I have a hard time with that. So I gave up and I bailed on our book club.
Wow.
And I kind of feel bad, but not really. And then finally, I've been catching up on podcasts. I mentioned that I was a month behind on podcasts last time we talked. I am officially now only just 2 weeks and 1 day behind on podcasts. So I have been like pounding through that stuff.
Did giving up on the DevOps Handbook help a lot?
No, because I hadn't been reading it anyway. All right, Josh, that's it for me. How about you?
Okay, well, I do have a lot too. I've talked just a little bit about the project I've been working on, trying to get my Plex and Channels DVR server up and going again. This box just does not want to stay running for long periods of time.
Oh, that's not good.
So I have been using Gemini to be like, bro, help me out here. Tell me why this box isn't working.
Yeah.
So I'm down to like the last couple of tests because it's like, listen, you probably have a bad motherboard. Like I swapped out the power supply. I've done a lot of stuff to this thing, and they're like, we're gonna try these last couple of things. If this doesn't work, it's the motherboard. Sorry, which is fine. Like this is a 10-year-old PC. So I'll keep you posted. Hopefully by next week, I will know for sure what is going on with this machine and whether or not I've got a spare PC to dedicate to fun servery things. On the gaming side, yeah, I mean, a lot of the normal stuff, like, yes, playing some Helldivers 2 and NHL, a lot of that. Getting near the end of 1000X Resist, been playing that with Joe, and it is such a weird and cool story. I'm waiting on a text message from him to find out if we're going to finish it tomorrow night, because I want to just finish it. Like, we're so close to the end.
Yep.
And I want to know how this is going to wrap itself up, because it's such an interesting futuristic sci-fi story, and I want to see how it ends. And I want to see what about this game needed to actually be a game, because that's a little bit of the criticism. Is like, okay, it's a really cool story, but why did it have to be a game? There's not that much gameplay to it. You know, there are questions and stuff, but they don't necessarily seem to, like the way that you answer doesn't seem to change things. So there's one more chapter to find out if this game really needed to be a game. But either way, it's been a really interesting story. So hopefully, yeah, I'll definitely be done with that by the time we do our next show. On the TV side, a lot. We have finished Copenhagen Test. That is on Peacock. Again, I liked it. I didn't love it, but the acting is really good. And my God, the people in this show are some of the prettiest people you've ever seen, which might be reason enough to watch it, I guess.
And this is the one with the guy from Marvel, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy who plays I can't think of his name either.
Can't think of the name of it.
Yeah.
He was also in Kim's Convenience.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's cool. It's just not quite as good as I had hoped. You and I talked while we were in Vegas about a limited series on Netflix that I started watching called 0 Day.
Yeah.
I watched the whole thing and loved it. Really, really good story there. I think it's 6 episodes. It's definitely no more than 8. Really, really liked 0 Day. Highly recommend that to anybody with Netflix. And The Pit is back on HBO. It's so good. I
saw that. Like already.
Oh, it's so good. It is so good.
Has it really been a year since they premiered the first season, or did they just like do them really close together? Because it doesn't seem that long ago.
I think it was about a year, because I think it was in January last year that it came out. We are 3 episodes in. It's already brought the tears. It's such a well done episode. You mentioned, I think it was Abbott Elementary is going to be 15 episodes, and how weird that is.
Yeah.
That's how long The Pit is going to be.
It's so weird.
And it kind of makes sense because The Pit, they structure the episodes. They are 1-hour episodes, and each episode covers 1 hour of the day because
right.
It's just one day.
So it's 15 hours of time. It's kind of 24 like you mentioned.
Yeah. And this season takes place on the 4th of July. And so 4th of July in an emergency room, you can imagine that by the end of the day, it's getting chaotic with people shooting their arms off and stuff like that. But it starts at 8 a.m. So we need more episodes to get to the fireworks and all of that, right? So I'm not complaining. I will take a million episodes of The Pit. It's so good. It's so good. We are up to date on High Potential. That show continues to be lots of fun and a nice, easy way to chill and forget about the insanity of what is going on in the real world. And then some racing stuff. The Dakar rally happened while we were at CES. I'm very slowly making my way through that because it is like a 2-week long rally through Saudi Arabia. And also the 24 hours of Daytona was last weekend. I did not watch all 24 hours. I probably watched 5 hours. Always enjoy some good sports car racing. And I am watching one show on Prime Video. That one show is not enough for me to justify paying extra to get rid of ads. But that is Fallout. Season 2 is back. It's good. It's really good. I think that wraps up next week. But I'm a couple of episodes behind, so I'm not exactly waiting and for more episodes to drop. So
I swear it seems like it just started the second season. I can't believe it's almost over already. Right. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's only 7 or 8 episodes. So
okay.
Yeah, all of these shows nowadays. Back in the good old days, Richard, when a television
I missed 26 episodes,
24
a season,
episodes,
right?
Whatever,
yeah,
right.
Half a year, and then the other half a year was reruns.
Exactly. On the book front, I finished State of Wonder by Ann Patchett for my book club. Everybody in my book club loved this book. I felt dumb. It's an interesting book with an interesting story, and it's a well-told book, but I didn't really understand why it's considered such a great book. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too dumb. Maybe it's too literary for me. I'm not sure. But I think that Ann Patchett is an author who, I don't remember the name of maybe her most famous book, but a lot of people have said, yeah, I read that book and I hated it. But I think this one is pretty different.
So maybe you're not dumb.
Maybe I'm not, but there was at least one person in my book club who hated that other book by this author and really liked this one.
Like this?
Yeah. So if you've hated other Anna Patchett books, then maybe State of Wonder would still be a good one for you. I didn't love it. So today I started a book called 1 Second After. I don't remember who, but it was recommended by one of our listeners. I should go back and find out for the next one so that I can shout them out. This is a book. He recommended it when I was talking about nuclear war, because this is a fictional series about someone detonating an EMP over the United States and the catastrophic results of, all of our electronics being bricked forever.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah. Because I hate to let everybody in on this little secret. That's all your lighting now, too.
And your cars and your insulin pumps and
everything.
Right. Right. Yeah.
It's your everything.
It would be really bad. So, I don't know. I'm a chapter or two in, and it's definitely got me hooked. Like it's well written, so I like it. But yeah, that's it for what's going on in my entertainment center. So let's let people know how they can get a hold of us. We're on some socials. I'm at Josh Pollard. I'm on Twitter, but God, I'm really trying to not be. So use Blue Sky if you want to talk to me online. Richard is on Mastodon at Richard Gunther, mostly. He is technically on Blue Sky, richardgunther.com over there. I don't know how much he's over there, but
Yeah, but the other thing you can do is you can search for Richard Gunther on Blue Sky, and you'll find the mirror of my Mastodon account over there. So you can follow a Mastodon post on Blue Sky.
Okay. All right. Well, that is going to do it for episode 701. He's Richard Gunther, and I'm Josh Pollard. Thanks for listening to Entertainment 2.0. Adios.
Goodbye.